match number 2 on the diamond tables at the new location. So let's see if we can maintain our winning streak going on here. In terms of stats, Fargo's coming up, like I said. Looking to get into the 600s, you know, see how high we can get there. And then I think this next year is just going to be about doing that hard work. Might be a new table at some point in my future, maybe within, you know, the next 6 months or so. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But really excited to be playing at this new location while I can. I call the bank shot here. The shape would have been nice. This is basically just draw off the 1 ball. And I have a slight miscue here as well, which is interesting because it's kind of like what happened in last week's match. And more, not so much a hitch in the stroke, but probably just much too long of a bridge, kind of bridging off the rail like that. And not a matter of feeling unsettled or anything. I mean, I felt pretty good coming in off that last match. And as for my opponent, I played Shawna before. Video of that is up here on the channel as well. So we played once previously in this season. And I think she just goes safe here. Just try to hide the 1 ball behind the cluster. Pretty good speed, leaks out just a little bit. So I do have a look at the 1 ball. I remember coming up to this and feeling like it was a little too touchy to try to get to the right side of the 5 ball without opening up the 1. And I didn't have access to the full left-hand side of the 1 ball to get over to that. So I think I'd just play sort of a double kiss and kick the cue ball back up towards the center of the table. 1 ball plays out a little bit. I ended up cutting it. I wanted to come into that a little fuller. So this actually does give Shawna a look at the 1 to where she could cut it in. It's thin enough that I think if you know the shot, you cut this in and then play into the 210 to open that up. So she does, I think she was attacking there, ended up overcutting it and hides it pretty effectively behind the 8 and the 4 and the 9. It's really stuck down there. So I looked at this for a minute because I was considering the jump over the 8 this way into the rail to kick into the 1. Just risky, right? It looks like it's risky. There's a pretty good chance of a scratch. If you hit the 1 ball full, the cue ball might track towards the short rail, but it just felt a little too risky to jump at it. The kick here between the 7 and the 4 had an opening, either straight into the 1, if that's possible off the rail. It's hard to tell from the camera angle, but I think I was more looking at going into the short rail and then the 1 ball. It's pretty thin between the 7 and the 4, but it felt like if you get between those, you're going to have a pretty good chance of running into the 1. So I just go based on feel here and just slightly misjudged it. It really wasn't off by too much, but missed the hit. Give up ball in hand on this one. Shawna still got work to do here, though. I mean, the 2 ball is in a tough position, even with ball in hand on the 1. Maybe playing it from here and going out and around, it'd be hard to get around the 2. I might be tempted to play the 1 and get shape into kind of where the cue ball is now and play safe on the 2. Open it up and then keep control. She's got a bridge over the 1. Maybe it's just trying to come out and back. And does. Still in a pretty good spot for a safe, but I'm not sure if she goes for that. She's got enough room to bank it. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes cross-side. Position's not guaranteed on the 3. Yeah, she's going cross-side. This could work out, but like I said, the 3's in kind of a tough spot with all the traffic down there. Plays it pretty good, honestly. Like, doesn't miss it by that much. And leaves me long on the 2. These can be tough if you don't trust the clean delivery, kind of the straightness of your stroke. So basically what I look at here is I've got options. Two ball goes to either corner, but which one avails me the best shape? I think in this case, they both kind of work. You could theoretically even roll through this two ball and get good shape on the three. I decided to stroke this, back cutting the two, trusting the straightness of my delivery here. And I play it with good speed to the point where it sort of stuns between the 8 and the 3, and I've got a really good look at the 3. I'm sort of on the wrong side of the shot line. I don't have a natural line. You know, if you were in here, then you're going to come off the 3 towards the 4. So I have to go at this with high left. It hits the long rail and then spins to the left down towards the 4 ball. On that particular shot, I certainly could have taken a moment to think a little more about the speed. Again, the shot line of the 4 ball, you don't want to be too flat on it, and that's exactly what I get. So it makes it a little harder on me than it needed to be. But basically what I do is I sight this in. Yeah, I telegraph the whole thing, so you know exactly what I'm doing here. I play it full on into the right-hand side of the pocket with the knowledge that cheating it in that way is going to drive the cue ball towards the 9. Stunning it off the 4, bobble that in. Could have gone wrong for sure. I almost got too much out of it, but this worked out really great. And again, this is just a function of that comfort with the size of the pockets and the equipment, knowing that these tables play fair. And I'm also sort of in that flow state right now. Big mental progress recently. Making a plan, committing to it. Trust your game stuff. Yeah, like, you know, stuff I've talked about for a long time, but it's really starting to come together. Couple considerations for the 8 ball, but the question is, how do you get from the 8 to the 9? You could certainly stop it down here, right, and give yourself a shot on the 8 in the corner, in the top or the bottom right corner here, but it's just so much work to get back down for the 9. What you see a lot of the pros do is they'll shape this ball in the side. And so I play for this window with the knowledge that if I get behind the 8, I'll be able to have a natural line that draws me towards the 9 ball. And this is basically perfect speed. I mean, I get right on the line, a little bit of a cut, naturally rolls me back down to the 9 ball. That shot in particular settled me even more. Felt really, really good to get exactly where I wanted to get. Use the rail to open this up, maintain a little bit of an angle on the 9, and then options for the 10. You know, you can roll away from this, or you can let the cue ball go where it wants to go. I've been trying to pay more attention to that recently too. So rolling through this, just kind of a high ball, maybe a little bit of outside, or a right-hand spin, kind of inside in this case. Roll it up, let that angle open itself, and then you're fine. I mean, I'm on the rail, but again, just like that last match, when I'm settled, these are never gonna kind of be intimidating to me. I'm not missing those. So I make a sporty little out there with, I think what I like most about that pattern play is how I was approaching the shot lines and just the decision making was on. Interesting spread out here after the break. Bit of a cluster on the right-hand side. All the balls have a pocket, you know, once the kind of lower balls in the rotation are made, the blockers get removed. But sort of like a drill. Problem is, I'm left with a long, pretty flat, pretty straight in shot on the 1 ball. And because I don't have a lot of angle to work with and I can't draw off this, not very effectively anyway, getting shape on the 2 ball is pretty tough. So I try to cheat this just a little bit with some force follow, with the intention of getting into the bottom of the table here, up and out. But I think all of us have either hit this on purpose or by accident, where there's so much follow that it kind of, you know, digs itself into the rail and it kind of dies. Watch this action. Yeah, it's just being that flat on it, it was always going to be hard to get out of that corner down there. So immediately put myself in trouble. But it's the kind of situation where I'd have to set it up to try some other options of how to get shape on the 2. I might have been able to draw out of that if I really wanted to dig down into the cue ball from the rail. Now I have to kick at the 2. I'm sighting this in, basically just splitting diamonds here. Trying to integrate that kick system. And I do call it in the top right corner, knowing that that's possible as long as I hit it thin. But ends up going long, so sort of misjudged my angle there. I don't think I mishit it. I think I hit where I was aiming, but just aimed at the wrong spot. So turnover, ball in hand to Shawna again. A little bit of a stretch on this 2 ball. Maybe the thinking is to stay under the 3, to play the 3 ball in the bottom right-hand corner. Which I like that. I think that can work out. There's no need to try to get all the way around table. Just take short side on the 3, a bit tougher shot on the 3, but very simple position. This is effectively a stop shot. I mean, playing... this is going to make it tougher. Playing the 3 ball from in here is better because then when the 3 rolls up the table, the cue ball is going to want to come out. You're going to give yourself a look at the 3, if not the ability to stun across table and get under the 4. So she's going for it, just going to kind of send it up table here. Bit of an overcut, not by too much, but I think, again, this was the kind of thing where people would be like, that would have gone in on a valley table. And catches a roll. I do not have a look at the 3. I don't believe I can get at the top side of it, sort of between the, the 6 and the 7 and the 8. I don't think I can get at that. I end up having to kick at this. I'm basically using my system. I'm going to call it in the top right-hand corner, knowing there's a chance that it'll go in. But basically, I just need to make a good hit. I don't want to be giving up ball in hand a second time after missing the 2 ball. Kind of a weird one, though, because even if you do make this kind of cool kick shot into the 3, there's no positional guarantee. This time I do use my system. Pretty good hit. Pretty good full hit. Didn't hit the proper side of the ball, but worked out okay. Now she's got to look at the 3. It looks like it cuts. I think she can just cut this in the left-hand side. And rolling through the 6, she should at least have a look at the 4, if not a shot. Okay, kind of interesting spot here. Maybe just cross-side feels natural. I might be tempted to go safe, put somebody under the 10. But the cross-side can be good. And hooked me again. Camera's a little deceptive here, but I do not have the cut on the 4 in the bottom left corner. One of those where you walk up and just like, yeah, sure, yeah, that makes sense. But this is my 3rd time kicking at the ball, and I'm dedicated. I'm committed to making this one, guys. This one's going in. I'm gonna kick the 4 in the right-hand side, and then just get out from there. Need to be done with this rack. Nice. And good speed to knowing that I was going to hit it pretty full. Gave it enough speed to roll past the 7. Planned that pretty well. I'm not tidy on the 5. The problem is the cue ball's naturally going to want to come down and do something like this. Playing the 6-10 is okay, but you really don't want to have to contend with the traffic. So I go high inside here and try to get into this window for the 6. This is speed control. You want a little bit of an angle on the 6 to make sure that you can get back up for the 7. Play it maybe a little too firm, and honestly getting out into this area, kind of onto the long rail, might have been nice. This back cut is pretty touchy. My plan was to go around the 7 to get into this area And I was just citing in that last point was just to look how I'm coming between the 7 and the 9. I remember feeling like I set up okay on this one. Pretty smooth. I must have just lined it up wrong. Because I think my delivery was good, my stroke looked good, pretty smooth. Little like kind of micro pause there. Yeah. Nothing crazy. But turn it over again, and Shawna verifies the thing about like early 10s, and because it had come up before. Pretty natural 6-10 combination here, and I think as long as you use a high ball and sort of roll in the 6, the cue ball's going to roll down and give you a shot on the 6. So this, and then cue ball comes down. Nice. Yeah, she hit that good. Now I gotta spot the 10. This is funny. This is another one where a lot of people from the league were struggling with naturally grabbing the 11 ball.
The 10's in there if you want to do that. It doesn't matter. Right.
Yeah, she got a kick out of that. We're just used to the dirty rack, but balls fall in the tray now. We're not paying quarters anymore, so it's 10 balls open. 10 ball doesn't look like it's on the spot, Shawna. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong. That's definitely not on the spot now. No, maybe it was. Anyway, good shot on the 6, and a little bit of work to do from the 7 to the 8, but honestly, it's really just focus on making the ball, and you're pretty much always going to have a look at the 8. You might not like it because it's a long shot, but you're not going to hook yourself here. I'd probably try to get silly on this, you know, a high ball to dive it into the short rail or a touch of inside or something. Try to get really cute on the 8. Oh, a little bit of a hitch in the stroke. Hesitated, maybe. That would have been tough, though. I think just the speed. If she had made that ball, she still would have been way here up table, and I've got pretty natural shape, sort of low left, and spin it down for the 8. The angle of the 7 ball shot does most of the work here. And for this 8 ball, you could play to either side, right? As long as you have an angle to get across for the 9 ball, you can stun into the rail like I'm going to do here, or you could play behind it for the back cut, play the 8, and get up above the 9 like that. Now I leave myself the back cut on the 9 to come across table. You got to have this shot in your back pocket. The stun into the rail and back out, and then the back cut to come across table. Play this smooth, maybe underhit it a little bit, but I still get okay on the 10 ball here. And again, I'm not missing any more 10 balls like this, guys. Don't even think I'm gonna do it. Yep, little touch there. Keep the cue ball away from the side pocket, and gets us neatly out of that set. So that's 4 for 4 on that night, and we've got one more match coming up just in a couple days, so stay tuned. BCA is chugging along. We are going to have a little bit of a break. I don't think I mentioned this in my last video, but we've got a little bit of a break coming up in a few weeks. We're going to miss about 2 weeks of BCA, and then we'll be back. But there's other content coming, some Masters, and then there's the follow-up to the challenge match with Josh Powell from Amateur Pool. So keep an eye out for that, and I will see you guys again soon.